Welcome back to another episode of Four Chicks Chatting. We are here today in the almost middle of December to talk a little bit about not getting our tinsel in a tangle.
Too late.
Yeah, you know what?
I got knots, tangles, things falling out. I don't know.
You know the Christmas lights when you get them out of the box from the attic?
The big balls of them that are all
big
Yes.
ball. That's pretty much what my brain is like right now.
And my chest, it's like just so tight.
Mhm.
Isn't it supposed to be fun? Are we having fun yet with the holidays? No one is.
And I say this every year too. I say I
know.
am going to enjoy this season. I start early. The Christmas cards are written. There's already things wrapped, and right now I still feel like I can't breathe.
I feel the same way. But it's funny. I did my bike this morning, and they've already started their Christmas music rides. And the cute little instructor, who is a 10 out of 10, she's like, "Oh, I just love Christmas music. Doesn't it put you in the mood? And this is supposed to be the most beautiful time of year." And I'm thinking,
Shut
yeah.
I think it's beautiful when you can walk around and see things decorated that you didn't have to put up. Like then it's beautiful. Then it's wonderful. Then it's magical. Like we went to that luncheon on when was it? Friday? We went to that
Friday.
luncheon.
Yeah, that was cool.
And the place was beautiful. It was decorated beautifully, and the trees and the fake snow and the little twinkle lights, and it was wonderful. And I came home and I was like, "Oh crap, I haven't done any of that yet." So this past weekend, but I did, and I have to say I'm getting so much better at this. I made an executive decision yesterday after hauling all of that down from the attic and getting dirty, and it was disgusting. And I was just like, no, I'm not putting most of this stuff out, and I'm just done. I'm not doing it. I have certain things out and certain things up, and I just too bad, not doing it anymore. But my situation's a little different because I don't have my kids at home. Like you guys have your kids at home, and I think we start those traditions and then we don't know how to get out of them.
Yeah. Well, I've got two blind kids, so they don't know what's up.
They don't know what's going on.
But they might run into it.
Do you know what's funny? They actually, and I say that completely joking about the decorations, but this year, because of insane custody and whatever circumstances, we had to push our Friendsgiving to my worst nightmare, the weekend of Thanksgiving. So I had all these people coming, and that's always when me and the kids decorate. And I'm like, this is insane. Now it's our decorating time. And I started to really lose it, and I'm like, I can't believe that it got pushed to this and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what? Let's just reverse. When we would have had Friendsgiving, we decided that day, it was supposed to be the weekend before Thanksgiving. So the kids and I decided that day we were going to just get everything down and get everything decorated before Thanksgiving, because nobody was coming before Thanksgiving. It didn't matter. Michael was only home from college for 1 week. So we spent that weekend putting it all up, and I had to let go and let the kids put some of the garlands and stuff up. And I'm like, you know what? If it's not right, it's not right. I don't care. They were chipping in to help. So whatever we got done by that Sunday night before Thanksgiving, that's our Christmas decorations. That was the pack that we made. And that's all that we've put up. Anything else is still in the garage. I'm not bringing it in. And it worked out just fine.
And nobody cares. I got a lovely, lovely email from a woman that I know, and I always mess up Deb's last name. Oh gosh, I can't even think of her last name. Oh, Deb Karagianis, whatever the heck it is, Karagianis, Deb. So anyway, she sent me an email and she said, I just had to write to let you know that thanks to you and your words of wisdom, 2019 was our best Thanksgiving ever. I know we talked before after reading your book about downsizing and letting go of the things that cause you stress over the holidays, but I never had the courage to do it until this year. I feel so free. And she just went on to talk about how she didn't do the fine china and she didn't polish the silver and she didn't do any of that. And then she kept writing, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. We had dessert on paper plates and nobody cared. And I actually had fun. So, I mean, like, isn't that what this is supposed to be about? Is to have fun. So how do we untangle our tinsel. How do we do it?
Well, I think we're all kind of hinting to the same thing, and it's simplify. I
Yeah.
think Kristen said she did it, and I've done it this year. I have way less out this year than I have ever done before. And I've been purging things, thinking, you know what? We don't need to put all this up anymore. For a month, it collects dust. Who needs that? But it's interesting, Kristen, you were talking about Michael being home for only a week, and Josh only had from Wednesday to Sunday home. So it was that weekend after we flew home late Saturday night from our family in Illinois, and then it was Sunday. It was like, hurry, let's get the tree up before Josh leaves, And do you know the ornaments didn't get put on until this past weekend? It's like you just you piecemeal it because there's just not enough time.
No. And you know what? I think that the key is what I started doing is to say, because there's just too much and there's too much upsetment and all that, I started to say, it used to, I think, be more about what people loved coming into the house seeing, and now I'm doing, what do I love seeing? Like, I didn't put all the china on the hutch that I just refinished and all that. It would have looked gorgeous, but instead we used it. I needed it for Friendsgiving with all my other plates. So I'm like, oh, we're going to actually use the china plates instead of looking at, but it's more about what I am comfortable with and am happy with, instead of impressing everybody that comes in the house. But that being said, I do have, especially one of my friends, we just went to her party that kicks off Christmas in our neighborhood. She has a tree in every room of her house, and it's like a 4,000 square foot house.
Oh, good Lord.
But as a family, they love to put all that together. And their extended family comes over and helps, and they're set up for weeks before the party even happens. So I think for them, they love to do that together. For me, we could just about get one tree up without everybody killing each other. So it's really what works for you and your family. And then this was the year I wasn't screaming. Well, the past couple of years, I wasn't screaming at the kids. Nobody was fighting. We just do what we can and set a time limit. Whatever's done at that point, done.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think the key is, because I know when I was younger and the kids were little and everybody was, prancing around and all, it was different, and we really enjoyed doing that. But as things have changed, I think it's okay to let go of that stuff, and you can change with it. Like so holidays is one of the dirty words in the Dirty Words book, the Women's Book of Dirty Words. But the key is all that stuff that we're talking about now, that it was appropriate at a certain time and it was fun. But when it stops being fun and nobody cares, then let yourself off the hook.
Yeah, I agree.
It's funny you're talking about, the tradition, like the traditions and the kids when they're little and all the things you do. We had so many traditions that I was so regimented about with my boys, and there's such an age gap between them and Gracie. It's like some of them have kind of gone to the wayside, and I feel really bad because she's probably the only one that would have carried them forward,
Yeah. Well, I've told you guys before, and it's a running joke in our family. I had all those little light up village houses,
So did I.
Two different sets of them. So I had one was one time frame, another was another time frame. So I gave the one set to my Megan, who's my youngest, who's like, she's all about it and everything. So my Laura, the other set I was going to give her, she was like, well, you can give them to me, but I'm putting them up in the boxes with just the houses facing, the pictures of the houses facing outside so people can see them. I'm not even taking them out of the house. So they don't even want our stuff anymore. So
funny.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Kath, what about you? What do you do? What's your, because you still have both of the girls at home. So are they into it?
Yeah, they're totally into it and very, very regimented about the timing, what music is on, what movie is on, what they're drinking, what they're eating. It's pretty much like I said yesterday, everybody was going on. I said, am I on a cruise ship? And did somebody just put the itinerary under my door? Because you said, okay, in 15 minutes, we're going to do this. I'm going to come take a shower, and then we're going to come down. I'm going to make the dough, and then we're going to turn on the TV, and then I was like, stop. For the love of God, make it stop. But I think I'm like with you guys that I usually have tons of poinsettias in every room of the house, red and white. I color coordinate them to the decor, of course. This year, I'm like, I might just get 2 poinsettias and put them in the front, and that's it. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. And not to mention, like you said, no one sees
Nobody
what
notices.
we see.
Nobody cares.
No.
I think it's okay too. Some years I feel more into it than other years. And I think it's okay to let yourself off the hook on the years that you're just not feeling it as much. Some years I'm all about it, and other years I'm like, meh, this is a meh year.
But doesn't it take
It
you
is a
out
year.
of the like, not to use a pun on words, but it's applicable. Doesn't it take you out of the present? I mean, when you're worried about the china and who's eating this, and the dog tail's going to hit something off, and somebody's going to spill red wine, and I mean, I'm not enjoying the conversations that I'm having with my family. I'm
Yeah,
thinking I got to get a trash bag to pick up all that wrapping paper, and like that's where I'm going.
yeah, yeah. I think, well, and that woman, that friend of mine who made that, she made that point. She said, when I stopped worrying about all that stuff, then I was present. I was in that moment. So I think we have to retrain our brains, because our brains were trained to do all of this stuff, our traditions that we started, all very well intentioned, and they were wonderful. I mean, that, like you said, your girls are still into it. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they're going to carry that with them. And my kids carry those things with them too. But when when they don't care anymore, it's okay for us not to care. It's okay for us not to care sooner than that. But if you really need that excuse, like when your kids are not helping, that's when you
Huh.
Yeah.
can stop.
Yeah, that's true. If they're not helping, then they don't care about it that much, then it is what it is. That's why I said to the kids, if you want the garlands all through the foyer and staircases, you guys have to do them, because I'm not going to get to it this year. And they did, and they actually even put the lights on, and all three of them are still alive.
I
That's
would
great.
I would love to have a video of that.
Oh
Like
my
Oh
the
my
gosh.
blind leading the blind on the garland. Like it's got to be just right.
Well, you should also see, they also put together my 15-foot Christmas tree that goes together branch by branch. But let me tell you about the talents of the blind. They are the greatest tree fluffers, and they're ridiculous about it, my boys, especially Mitchell. That is his number one job, because he can fluff that. I should have Feeney's hire him, because he can fluff a tree that you can't even imagine. Whereas I'm like, I put the branch on and I don't even fluff it till I'm putting the lights on, and I pull a few things out and I'm done. And he's like, no, 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 no.
So that giant tree in your house is a branch by branch thing, like not sections?
Nope, we got
Oh
it the year
my
before they came out with the tri-section
God.
tree. Yes.
Oh my God, that's
Branch by branch,
unbelievable.
2 ladders. It's insanity. And now, thank God, Carissa is so tall, because she was able to help get the stupid star thing, the top piece, on. Yeah,
That's
but it's a whole. We used
unbelievable.
to invite the kids in the neighborhood to come and help put it together when the kids were little. Invite your friends, and they'd all come up with branches, because you can't even carry the box from the basement. You have to
Oh
bring
my
it up
God.
branches at a time. Yeah.
Oh, see, that would be the one, that would be the only thing I did then. That would be
Yeah.
it. I would put that up. That would be the end of that. Merry Christmas. Everybody come into this room and look at this tree, because that's it.
Yeah,
Not putting out another.
yeah, I'd be breaking the bank to get a new one. Forget it.
But you know what's funny too, on this whole thing about, where your limits are and putting stuff up? One of the greatest things about almost going bankrupt and trying to rebuild is I don't have the extra cash for all the stuff I see in the stores. I'm like, oh, I have red and white poinsettias, but the gold ones would look amazing. And then I'm like, yeah, no, we can't do that this year. I can't. I don't
Just
know if
spray
everybody
paint them.
realizes how much you do that in stores, that you're just grabbing stuff and adding decorations and adding things just all year long, just because you can. And then when you really can't, it's like, hey, I don't really have to have that.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
Christmas is
need it.
actually coming without it.
Yeah, the Who's in Whoville are still singing without all the Oompa Loompa trumpet blumpy things that are supposed to go on. You can still
Santa's
sing the.
still coming down the chimney.
That's right. You can still sing the song without all of it. So okay, so shall we make this at all about, like, I think the other side of the coin is when you get yourself so wrapped up in all that, you forget about your work stuff. Like your work stuff gets overwhelmed by all of that. So maybe the other added advantage is that you can spare some of that energy and wind up your year a little bit better too with work stuff, because you're not worrying about the tinsel.
I
I
had to
like that.
block out my calendar just to get my hair cut. Because
Yeah.
Me
talk about
too.
self-care. Self-care, December is the worst for self-care, I think,
Mhm.
because you're running around and it's about everybody else. So I did a lot of time blocking out on my calendar, and I'm going to try to, I've explained to people, hey, can we regroup again in January? Is that okay? I'm super booked, or let's limit something to an hour. I mean, I really don't
Yeah.
want to turn business away, but let's have an initial conversation today, but follow up in January.
I think
You
it's
think?
a good habit to start too, because I actually had someone reach out to me and said, who asked if we could get together, and she said, I know it's a busy time of year. I said, it really is. Can we do a Skype call or a Zoom call
That's a
Mhm.
or
good
whatever?
idea.
So
Hmm.
it's a good way to kind of start that habit out of necessity now, but it's a good habit to carry into the new year, that because we've talked about this before, like the coffee, let's go have coffee. That's deadly. I mean, that's not 15 minutes out of your day. That's a couple of hours by the time
Oh
you
yeah.
get there, plop yourself down, have your conversation and get back again. So if you can kind of, at this busy time of year, still maintain some of that, but do it in a reasonable way with the Skype or the Zoom call, it's a good habit to start.
And then one of the other things that I heard, gosh, I want to say at some point last year, I don't remember if it was Jenna Kutcher or Rachel Hollis, one of them had something on Instagram about that they do not travel in December for work. And I thought about that last year and I thought, oh my God, my kids deserve that rule, for me to adopt that rule, because by the time Christmas came, because I was trying to get everything in, and then December and the year end was great. And then I was exhausted.
Mhm.
I was miserable. And then, and I was missing a lot of the stuff around here. So that I instituted that rule. I broke it for one meeting last week because it was a daytime I left before the kids left for school, but I was back right after they got home. So it wasn't an overnight. And next year I actually will have no travel whatsoever in December. But what a difference to not be going away anywhere, and if I'm like, well, if my bank account takes a little bit of a hit, or somebody's annoyed that I didn't say yes to that gig in December, it is what it is. My family deserves me 100% here. Plus, I've been able to spend more time working on my January, because January is going to be huge. So it was like a win-win.
Yeah, I think again, it's all about allowing ourselves, because so in the holidays, don't you feel like we do so much of this again because of tradition or because we've always done it? So
Hmm.
maybe if we take a little bit of thought and don't kind of put ourselves on autopilot and require ourselves to do all of these things because we've always done them, and really think about it. So what do you need to do? What do you want to do? And what can you jettison,
Look at you with the big fancy word,
right?
That
jettison.
is that's an
Jettison,
SAT word.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Here's the fine. This is the word for December from the Four Chicks. Jettison.
Jettison.
Dump.
Hashtag.
Dump works just as well. And it's 4 letters. So let's go with one letter for each of us. Dump. We're gonna figure out what we can dump.
If any of our listeners do have to travel in January or in December, and I remember back in the day, it was this week that if you are in sales and you have a quota that's ending in 2 weeks and you're nowhere near it, they will fly your company corporate headquarters will fly you wherever, get you all in a room and beat you to death until you tell them how you're going to blow your quarter out. So if
Really?
that happens to be any of
Ugh.
you guys, try just to say, okay, you know what? This isn't going to happen. And here's why. Or if you got a plane ride, write the Christmas cards. Or,
There you
try to
go.
maximize the free time that you do have. Every flight now has Wi Fi. So you can do your shopping from the plane.
Smart.
So think about
Good
other
tips,
ways that
Marcina.
you can, yeah, just saying.
I like
That's
that.
great. That's great. Yeah, it's all about maximizing those minutes.
Hmm.
Maximize your minutes.
I
Yeah.
like it. That's
Hashtag
why I like to take the train. My meeting was in
love the
DC
train.
last week, and it was, it's like 2 hours, 45 minutes. I can get a ton done on the train. I sit in that little cafe car with a table. Good stuff.
But then I have to read a star or
Yeah, but that's your
I can't
reward.
work the whole time. The whole time, like train rides to me means like filthy, trashy magazines. Like,
But you know what? That's a good point. That's
Merry
a good
Christmas,
point. Yeah, I'm
everybody.
not sure about the filthy, trashy magazines
well,
part,
you
but
know what I
that's a
mean? Like
really,
the Hollywood celebrity trash.
yeah, but that's a good point. You have to build those little rewards in for yourself in the midst of all
Mhm.
this. That's a very good point.
JLD, John Lee Dumas, does it every single day of his life. I think he says he works for 40 minutes, then he spends 20 minutes either with a book or something like that, maybe one of your crazy trashy magazines, who knows. But he does that that's his work balance.
I love
Builds in
that
a little
idea.
break every hour.
I love that idea.
They say it's really healthy for mindset to do that as well. It's like the sprint. You do 45 minutes, take a 15-minute break, and you come back totally refreshed, and your creativity is higher.
I think
Depends
that's
what you're doing in that break.
The,
you're trying to cram laundry. If you're trying to cram all this other stuff, then you're still tired. After
Yeah,
the
but
15
listen,
minutes.
so if any of the chicks need to figure out how to build in that 15 minutes or need something to fill that time, or any of our listeners that are local, come take my dogs for a walk, because they've commanded my life. Every 45 minutes, they start nudging me. They have to go out, and they had me totally scammed. I now have to sit here. Friends of mine gave me the words to say to them that they don't really have to go out. I was totally scammed. I was like, wow, I'm out 10 times a day. This is a lot.
Dogs are manipulative.
Aren't
They're
they,
like
though?
kids. And they look at you with those puppy eyes, so they can't speak to you. So they push your buttons.
I will say it was nice. It is nice to get out and walk for 10 minutes on the hour with those goofballs, except for when another dog comes along. That's a whole nother story. We'll have to do a dog training episode, because I'm the worst dog mom. I need to be trained.
Yeah, I was just going to say, who needs the training? The puppies?
Yeah,
or
it's
you?
me. It's me. I keep giving in. Anywho.
Do we need a brilliance
break
bomb,
for 10 minutes
lady?
is good.
Yeah, let's wind up and do some brilliance bombs.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
Who's brilliant?
Who's brilliant today?
Everyone's thinking about their to-do list for the holidays.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we'll go back to the word jettison. Figure out what you can dump.
Can you spell that, please?
Jetti.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Jettison. I wrote it down.
I think so, yeah. SON.
SON. So figure out what you can dump, and that can be anything that nobody cares about but you. Figure out how much you really do care about it, and if you don't, dump it.
And I'll add for my brilliance bomb that if it's, you feel like you're got mom guilt and your kids want to have all this stuff and do all the activities, have the decorations, have a meeting. Talk to them about what is really important. Tell them that your time is limited, your funds are limited. That's what I had to do, just accidentally. And we came up with a plan that everybody was pretty much going to be happy with. So then your guilt is gone. And then it's their fault if they never mentioned it in the meeting.
There you go. Dump the guilt off on the kids.
I've got these notes from the meeting, kids, and I do not see that point. I'm going to go back to my crazy lights being all tangled up. And if your lights are tangled up, that means your brain is tangled up. So don't worry about untangling the lights, and don't worry about untangling your brain. Just don't do it.
I love that analogy.
I like it.
Your lights are tangled, your brain is tangled.
So don't do it.
Don't do it.
You'll save money on your electric bill.
Yeah. And I'm going to say simplify, listen to a ton of Christmas music, and eat the cookies.
Eat the cookies.
Best advice of all. Listen to music and eat cookies. They sing all the time at the North Pole, according to Buddy the Elf.
That's right.
Well, and they are a little chubby up there. So you see there's a lot of cookies.
Fit right in.
Going in. And they're very,
January's
very
coming. We'll work out then.
There you go. And eat the cookies. Okay.
All right. Well, that's a wrap, right, girls?
It is.
Wrap. Go wrap.
All right.
Go wrap. Go wrap your stuff.
No pun intended.
There you go. Well, happy holidays, everybody.
Yes. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, all of those things. We wish you all the very best of everything in December. And we will see you on that social thing. Please, if you can and are willing, leave us a review and a rating, because that's how other people find us. And we'll see you.
It is the season of giving, everyone.
That's right.
The season of reviewing.
Wait till you see what we've got in store next year. Oh boy, hold on to your hat.
And your tinsel.
And your tinsel. And that's a wrap. Goodbye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.